The more comfortable you get with just enough, the more you guarantee you'll never have more than enough. Comfort now often means struggle later. You'll either choose comfort now and pay for it later, or choose discipline now and live in freedom later. Broke is a condition. It can change. But poor is a decision. And that takes a complete shift in how you live and think. You see, people think they want wealth, but what they really need is what makes wealth possible. Choices. Choices about how you spend your day. Choices about who you spend it with. Choices about the kind of legacy you leave behind when your story is over. Today, I'm going to teach you how to think like the free, act like the wealthy, and live like the rich. Not just in money, but in time, in influence, in life. If you're ready to stop settling for just enough and start building more than enough, this is the day your new life begins. Success leaves clues. This is one of the most powerful truths you can ever embrace on your journey to financial freedom. It means that if you want to create wealth, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to stumble blindly or try every wild idea in the book. The path has been walked before, and the markers are there, left by those who have built wealth with integrity and lasting success. Your job is simply to study those markers, to learn from the footsteps of those who have achieved what you desire, and then adapt their principles to fit your unique situation. I remember when I first started out, I didn't have much money, and I certainly didn't have a clear roadmap to financial success. What I did have was a hunger to learn and a willingness to observe. I found mentors, not just in person, but through books, speeches, and stories. I paid close attention to what successful people did differently. It wasn't magic. It was habits, discipline, and an understanding of certain universal principles. These people weren't perfect, but their principles were solid. They paid themselves first. They invested in themselves. They focused on continuous learning. They valued time over money and made decisions that aligned with their long-term goals. One of the most important things I learned from watching successful individuals is that wealth is not just about money, it's about character and consistency. You can find people who made a lot of money fast, but they often lost it just as quickly. True wealth requires integrity and a mindset that looks beyond immediate gratification. Those who build lasting wealth think about legacy. They think about how their actions today affect their financial future and the generations after them. Now, you might be thinking, I don't know anyone rich or successful to study. That's okay. In today's world, knowledge is at your fingertips. You have books, podcasts, online courses, and videos by some of the greatest minds in wealth building. The key is not just to consume information, but to apply it. Take notes, reflect, test what works in your life and business. It's about taking consistent action on proven ideas. The principles of saving, investing, and growing don't change with trends. They are timeless. When you follow those clues, you build a solid foundation under your feet. Another important part of following success clues is to personalize the lessons. No two people have the exact same strengths, weaknesses, or circumstances. What works perfectly for one person may need adjusting for another. That's why modeling doesn't mean copying blindly. It means understanding the underlying philosophy and adapting it to your strengths. If you're a natural communicator, perhaps focus on building a business or side income around that skill. If you're analytical, maybe investing or real estate fits you better. The idea is to learn the core principles and then find your own way to implement them. It's also vital to build a circle of influence that supports your wealth building journey. Surround yourself with people who are disciplined, who value growth, and who challenge you to improve. These relationships become your daily success clues. They help you stay accountable and inspire you to keep moving forward. especially when times get tough. Let me tell you, this approach has worked not only in finance, but in every area of life. I've seen men and women rise from difficult circumstances simply because they found mentors, studied success, and adapted principles to their lives. It is not reserved for the lucky or the talented. It is available to anyone willing to do the work. So remember, the blueprint for success is not hidden. It's been laid out by those who've come before you. Don't waste years trying to discover it on your own. Follow the clues. Study integrity-based wealth builders. Absorb their wisdom. Then take that knowledge and make it your own. In doing so, you not only build your fortune, but create a life of purpose, freedom, and lasting impact. Success leaves clues. Find them, follow them, and make them your stepping stones to the financial future you deserve. Wealth without wisdom is a curse in disguise. It's a truth that many overlook in their pursuit of money, but it's absolutely crucial to understand. Money in itself is neutral. It's a tool, a powerful one, that can either build your dreams or destroy them depending on how you wield it. The unfortunate reality is that money magnifies who you are at your core. If you're wise, it will multiply your good decisions and elevate your life. But if you're foolish, it will only amplify your mistakes and accelerate your downfall. Early in my own life, I learned this the hard way. I had the opportunity to earn more money than I ever imagined, but I lacked the wisdom to manage it properly. Without a clear plan or discipline, I wasted money on fleeting pleasures, poor investments, and impulsive decisions. The more money I had, the faster it disappeared, and I found myself deeper in trouble. I realized quickly that wealth wasn't just about earning, it was about learning how to handle what you have. Wisdom in wealth comes from understanding that money is not an end, but a means. It's a servant, not a master. It demands respect, planning, and knowledge. Without these, you can easily fall into the trap of thinking that having money solves all problems. But it won't if you don't have the wisdom to use it effectively. One of the most important lessons I've seen is that money without wisdom leads to stress, broken relationships, and a constant chase for more. People get trapped in cycles of debt, living beyond their means, or making risky choices in hopes of quick gains. This is why the first step toward lasting wealth is cultivating financial intelligence, learning about budgeting, investing, understanding risk, and having a clear vision for your money. I always tell people, before you seek to increase your income, seek to increase your financial wisdom. Spend time educating yourself about how money works, how to save, invest, and grow it responsibly. Read books, attend seminars, find mentors, and never stop learning. The wealth you build with wisdom is stable and grows steadily over time. It's also important to develop emotional wisdom, learning to control desires, overcome greed, and resist the temptation of instant gratification. Wealth is a long game, and impulsive decisions often cost far more than you think. Patience, discipline, and long-term thinking are the marks of true financial wisdom. Think of money like water. Without a good channel, water floods and destroys. But with careful channels and control, it nurtures and grows the land. Wealth without wisdom floods your life with problems. Wealth with wisdom nurtures every area of your life, your family, your health, your community, and your legacy. Remember, money will magnify who you are. It won't change you. It will only reveal and multiply your true character. So commit yourself to grow in wisdom as much as you grow in wealth. Build the knowledge, habits, and mindset that make your money work for you, not against you. This is the secret to turning wealth into a blessing rather than a curse. Wealth without wisdom is a curse disguised as a blessing. Let wisdom guide your financial journey and watch how your money becomes a powerful tool for freedom and fulfillment. If you want to build lasting wealth, one of the most powerful habits you can develop is to regularly audit your financial habits. It sounds simple, yet many people never take the time to stop, look, and honestly assess how they're handling their money. What you measure improves, and that principle applies just as much to your finances as it does to your health or your business. Early in my journey, I discovered that money wasn't just about how much I earned, it was about what I did with it. I could make a good income, but if I wasn't tracking where every dollar was going, I was setting myself up for frustration and missed opportunities. So I began a simple practice. Every month, I'd sit down and review my spending, my savings, and my investments. This wasn't about perfection or guilt, it was about clarity. When you audit your financial habits, you start to see patterns. You notice where you're spending impulsively, where you might be leaking money on things that don't bring value, and where your investments might need attention. It's easy to think that once you set up a budget or start investing, you can forget about it. But wealth building is a dynamic process. Markets change, priorities shift, and your habits can drift if you don't keep a close eye on them. This monthly review becomes your personal financial checkup. It helps you stay accountable, keep your goals in focus, and make informed decisions. For example, if you notice you spent more than usual dining out, you can decide whether that was worth it, or if you want to redirect that money towards savings or investments next month. If your investments are underperforming, you can take action instead of waiting for a crisis. I remember early on, when I first started tracking my finances monthly, I found little things that added up. Subscriptions I'd forgotten to cancel, small purchases that didn't bring joy or progress. Cutting back on these little leaks freed up money I could put to better use. Over time, these small adjustments compounded into bigger savings and investment capital. Another benefit of auditing your habits regularly is that it builds discipline. It's a reminder that financial freedom doesn't come from luck or windfalls. It comes from consistent, conscious choices. It shifts your mindset from passive spending to active management. You become the boss of your money, not its servant. When you make reviewing your financial habits a habit itself, you empower yourself with knowledge. Knowledge dispels fear, reduces stress, and opens the door to new opportunities. It helps you spot where you're growing and where you need to improve. You can celebrate your wins and course correct on your losses. Start simple. Set a recurring date each month to review your bank statements, credit card bills, and investment accounts. Write down your findings. Ask yourself, what worked, what didn't, where can I improve next month? This small commitment creates a feedback loop that accelerates your progress. Remember, wealth isn't built by chance, it's built by choice. Auditing your financial habits is choosing to take control, to measure, to improve, and to grow. It's the cornerstone habit that separates those who drift financially from those who build real, lasting wealth. Make it a point today to start your financial audit this month and watch how clarity leads to confidence and confidence leads to financial freedom. When it comes to wealth, the truth is simple but profound. If you don't learn to manage small money well, you will never manage big money wisely. Every dollar you handle carelessly is not just a lost opportunity, it's a rehearsal for losing far greater sums down the road. It's like training for a race. If you don't practice with the small distances, you can't expect to win the marathon. I've seen many people chase big paychecks or dream of huge windfalls. But without mastering how to handle the money they already have, those dreams often slip through their fingers. Early in my career, I didn't have much, but I made it a point to treat every small amount with respect, as if it were $1 million. This mindset was crucial because it built the discipline and awareness I would need when real wealth came knocking. Money, like water, finds the path of least resistance. If you let a few dollars leak through cracks in your budget, through impulse buys, neglect, or careless spending, You're training your habits to be inefficient. Those small leaks, over time, become wide open doors for financial loss. Think about it. $1 wasted here, $5 ignored there. Those are the stepping stones to poor money management. If you act like those small amounts don't matter, you'll be surprised how fast the damage adds up. But if you treat every dollar as a soldier in your financial army, diligently assigning it a job, you build strong habits that scale as your income grows. This principle goes beyond just saving money. It's about respect and responsibility. If you can't balance your checkbook or track a few small expenses, you won't suddenly become a master when millions come your way. That's why the rich pay close attention to every detail, no matter how small. They understand that their fortune is a collection of many well-managed dollars, not one big stroke of luck. For example, I remember early on, I had a habit of jotting down every expense, whether it was a cup of coffee or a business investment. This simple habit taught me to be mindful. Over time, it became easier to spot unnecessary expenses and redirect that money into savings or investments. Those little changes didn't feel like sacrifices, they felt like building blocks. Managing small money well also prepares you mentally for bigger financial decisions. When you practice discipline with small sums, you develop patience, focus, and control, qualities essential for handling complex investments or large-scale business ventures. Without this foundation, you risk impulsive decisions that can cost you dearly. So, start today by giving your small money the attention it deserves. Track every expense, question each purchase, and practice saying no to needless spending. Remember, this isn't just about pennies. It's about training your mind and habits for the wealth you want to build. Master the small, and the big will take care of itself. Wealth is not created by chance, it's created by choice. And the choice to manage well starts with every single dollar you hold in your hand. When we talk about financial freedom, it's tempting to look for quick fixes or overnight success. But the truth is, wealth isn't built in a few months or with a single lucky break. It's forged over years of steady, persistent effort, even when the resistance seems overwhelming. The difference between those who succeed and those who give up often comes down to one simple but powerful trait: persistence. In my own journey, I learned that the road to financial independence is rarely smooth. There were times when obstacles seemed insurmountable, when investments didn't pay off as planned, when opportunities fell through, or when motivation waned. But the key wasn't to avoid these challenges, it was to keep moving forward despite them. Persistence means showing up every day, doing the work, making the right decisions, and learning from failures without letting discouragement take hold. Resistance will come in many forms: financial setbacks, self-doubt, criticism from others, or simply the lure of easier, less disciplined choices. The wealthy understand that resistance is part of the process, not a sign to quit. They embrace it as a signal that they're on the right path, that their efforts are stretching them beyond their comfort zones and toward growth. This is why it's crucial to develop a mindset that values consistency over speed. It's better to do a small, smart thing repeatedly than to chase a big, flashy opportunity that fades quickly. Even saving a little bit regularly, investing steadily, or learning consistently compounds over time to create remarkable results. I recall early in my career when I was planting seeds for my future. I had no grand fortune overnight. Instead, I made daily commitments, reading a few pages, setting aside a modest amount, seeking advice, and taking incremental steps. Over the years, those actions accumulated. What seemed insignificant at first eventually became the foundation for my financial freedom. Persistence also builds character and resilience. When you push through challenges, you develop confidence and a deeper understanding of how money works and how to grow it. This knowledge, paired with endurance, is far more valuable than any temporary windfall. If you can learn to persist, even when progress feels slow or invisible, you'll outlast the resistance that causes so many to fail. Remember, wealth isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. The long game wins. So commit yourself today to the path of persistent action. Show up, do the work, stay disciplined, and don't let temporary obstacles derail your journey. Because in persistence lies the true secret to lasting financial freedom. There's a truth so simple yet so profound. If you want to live richly in your lifestyle later, you must first live richly in discipline today. This principle might sound old-fashioned, but it's the foundation of every financial success story worth telling. The short-term sacrifices you make now, whether it's skipping a night out, saying no to an unnecessary purchase, or committing to save instead of spend, are the seeds that grow into long-term abundance. I've seen it time and again. People chase instant gratification, and it costs them more than money, it costs them freedom. They live paycheck to paycheck, always wanting the next thing, never satisfied, always struggling to keep up. But those who master the art of discipline understand that true wealth isn't just about what you have in your bank account today. It's about the lifestyle you create for yourself tomorrow. When I was starting out, I didn't have much, but I made a commitment to live below my means, to say no to comfort now for a better life later. I remember passing up on expensive dinners, fancy cars, and the latest gadgets, not because I wanted to be miserable, but because I had a bigger vision. I wanted to build a life where money served me, not the other way around. And that required discipline. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it becomes. When you choose to live rich in discipline, you're essentially investing in yourself and your future. You're telling your mind and your heart that you value long-term success over fleeting pleasure. That decision shapes every financial choice you make and sets you on a path toward real wealth. It's important to understand that this isn't about deprivation or denial. It's about priorities. You're deciding what matters most. Is it the temporary thrill of spending today, or the lasting joy and security that comes from having financial freedom tomorrow? Those who choose discipline over desire will find themselves living richly in every sense. Freedom to spend time with loved ones, the ability to pursue passions, and the peace of mind that comes with financial security. The beauty of this principle is that it applies no matter where you start. Whether you're earning a little or a lot, discipline creates leverage. It multiplies your efforts because every dollar saved and invested is a soldier sent to work building your future. It's about taking control now so your lifestyle later isn't dictated by circumstances but by your own design. So, if you want to live richly, start living rich in discipline today. Sacrifice the small comforts that don't serve your bigger purpose. Train yourself to delay gratification. It may be uncomfortable at first, but I promise you, the reward will be a life of abundance, choice, and true wealth. This is the oldest, truest secret of wealth, and it's waiting for you to embrace it. There's a profound law that governs money. Money obeys clarity. If you cannot clearly explain how you will earn it, how you will grow it, and how you will keep it, then it simply won't come to you in the way you want. It's a principle that many overlook, but it's as true today as it was when I first began my journey. Think about it. If you don't have a clear picture of where your money is coming from, where it's going, and what it's doing for you, then how can you expect to succeed financially? Vague hopes and wishful thinking won't pay bills, build assets, or create freedom. You need a plan, a detailed, actionable plan with defined goals and strategies. Early in my life, I realized that having a dream without a clear strategy was like setting sail without a compass. I knew I wanted financial freedom, but I couldn't get there if I didn't know the steps I needed to take. So, I spent time writing down exactly how I would earn money, what skills I would develop, what opportunities I would pursue. I mapped out how I would grow that money through investing, saving, and reinvesting profits. And I planned how to keep it safe by avoiding reckless spending and bad investments. Clarity breeds confidence and action. When you can explain your financial path simply and clearly, you remove confusion and hesitation. You begin to see opportunities more clearly, and you're able to say no to distractions that don't align with your goals. This kind of focused thinking attracts money because it demonstrates discipline, preparation, and purpose, qualities that financial success rewards. If you want to master money, start by writing down your plan in clear terms. Define exactly how you will earn, whether it's through a job, business, or investments. Define how you will grow, what assets you will build, how you will educate yourself to increase your value, and define how you will protect and preserve what you've earned. Put this plan where you can see it every day. Let it guide your decisions, your spending, and your efforts. When you achieve clarity, money begins to follow. It's no longer a mystery or a guessing game. You become a magnet for financial opportunities because your mind is focused and your actions deliberate. And remember, clarity isn't a one-time event. It's a continuous process. Regularly revisit your plan, adjust it as you grow, and keep your financial vision sharp. Money will obey your clarity. This truth is the foundation of financial success. Without it, all other efforts will be scattered and less effective. With it, you command your financial future with purpose and power. Let clarity be your guide and watch how your wealth begins to grow. Emotions have a powerful hold on all of us, but when it comes to money, they can become the greatest enemies of wealth. Fear sells, greed traps, and impatience destroys. It's a harsh truth, but one that everyone who seeks financial freedom must face head on. I've seen it countless times in my own life and in the lives of those I've worked with. When fear creeps in, fear of losing money, fear of missing out, fear of taking risks, people often make rash decisions. They sell investments at a loss during a market dip, or they avoid opportunities that could have been profitable because their minds are clouded with doubt. Fear convinces us to hold back when action is needed, and it keeps us trapped in the cycle of playing it safe but never growing. Then there's greed, the desire to get rich quickly, to make a fortune overnight. Greed tempts us into risky schemes and shortcuts, promising big rewards with little effort. But these traps almost always lead to loss, disappointment, and regret. The quick gains that come from greed rarely last, and often they wipe out years of careful saving and investing. The wealth you build should be steady and sustainable, not a roller coaster fueled by irrational desire. Impatience is another silent destroyer. Wealth is not created in days or weeks. It takes time, consistency, and discipline. Yet impatience pushes people to abandon good plans too soon, chasing after the next shiny thing. They pull money out of investments too early, or give up on building skills because they don't see instant results. True wealth requires patience, the ability to wait, to stick with the process, and to let compounding do its work over time. I remember early on when I started my own financial journey, I struggled with these emotions. There were times I felt fear when money got tight, greed when I heard of quick riches, and impatience when results seemed slow. But the lesson I learned is this: discipline and self-control are your greatest allies. You have to train your mind to master your emotions, not let your emotions master you. The secret is to develop a calm, steady mindset. Make decisions based on facts, not feelings. Have a clear plan and stick to it, even when emotions tell you otherwise. When fear rises, remind yourself of your long-term goals. When greed tempts, think of the price you might pay. When impatience pushes you to quit, Remember that wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. Emotions will always be there, but you have the power to choose how you respond. Control your emotions, and you control your wealth. Let emotions rule, and your financial future will be unpredictable at best, disastrous at worst. Guard your heart, steady your mind, and make every money decision with discipline and clarity. That is how wealth is preserved and grown. Living paycheck to paycheck is like running on a treadmill. No matter how fast you move, you never seem to get ahead. Breaking free from that cycle isn't about waiting for a big raise or a sudden windfall. It's about creating a second source of income before you expand your lifestyle. I've seen many people make the mistake of upgrading their spending the moment their income increases. A raise comes, and suddenly the new money disappears into bigger bills, more dinners out, or luxury items that don't add lasting value. That's a quick way to stay stuck, because your expenses grow right alongside your paycheck, leaving you no better off than before. The secret is this: don't let lifestyle inflation rob you of your financial freedom. Instead, use your current resources, your time, skills, or small savings to build another stream of income. This could be a side business, freelance work, rental property, or investing in dividend-paying stocks. The key is to develop consistent cash flow that's independent of your primary job. By doing this, you create a buffer. When that second income grows, it lessens your dependence on your paycheck. This gives you freedom to make choices, whether to save more, invest, or even reduce hours at your main job. You start living within your means, not your income, and that's where true wealth begins. For example, early in my journey, I took on a side hustle while keeping my day job. It wasn't glamorous, and it required discipline, but it provided extra money that I invested carefully. Over time, that second income grew, enabling me to break the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle and gain real financial breathing room. The practical step today is to identify one skill or opportunity you can start building that doesn't rely on your full-time job. Dedicate time each week to develop it before increasing your spending. It's not easy. Discipline rarely is. But this one habit changes everything. Remember, wealth isn't just about how much you make, but how wisely you manage and grow what you already have. Build your second income first, then let your lifestyle follow. That's the path off the treadmill and onto the road of financial freedom. Growing your money safely isn't about chasing the highest returns or gambling on the latest hot investment. It's about steady, disciplined growth built on protecting what you have while smartly expanding your assets. The principles I've learned and taught center around reinvesting profits, diversifying your income sources, and never putting all your future eggs in one basket. When you first begin to make a profit from your investments or business, the natural temptation is to spend or withdraw it. But the truth is, the money that creates more money is the money you keep working for you. Reinvesting profits allows compound growth to work its magic. Each dollar earned is put back to work, earning returns on return. Over time, this snowball effect grows your wealth far beyond what one-time gains could ever do. Diversification is the safety net that protects you from the unexpected. When all your money is tied to a single investment, whether it's a business, stocks, or real estate, you risk losing everything if that one asset falters. Spreading your investments across multiple sectors or income streams reduces risk and creates multiple pathways for growth. For example, real estate might provide steady cash flow. Stocks may offer capital appreciation, and a business can generate active income. Together, they balance your financial ecosystem. A story from my own experience illustrates this well. Early on, I focused heavily on a single venture. When market changes hit, I faced setbacks that could have been devastating. But because I had started building additional income sources, some passive, some active, I was able to weather the storm and keep moving forward. That experience taught me the importance of never relying solely on one stream for your future. The practical step to take is simple. When you receive profits from any investment, commit to putting at least a portion of those gains back into your portfolio or into new ventures. At the same time, evaluate your holdings and aim to have at least 3 or 4 diversified sources of income. This way, your financial future isn't riding on the success or failure of a single asset. Patience is key here. Safe growth is not about quick wins, but about steady, reliable progress that compounds over time. Guard your principles, don't chase fleeting trends, and stay disciplined with reinvestment and diversification. Remember, wealth is built not just by making money, but by protecting and multiplying it. Reinvest your profits, diversify your sources, and never let one investment hold all your future. That is how money grows safely and steadily over a lifetime. Wealth that lasts beyond your lifetime isn't simply about leaving behind a bank account or properties. It's about creating a legacy of wisdom, values, and discipline that empowers the next generation to not only inherit, but also grow what you've built. The secret to multi-generational wealth lies in teaching principles before handing over money. Money without understanding is a fragile gift. I've seen families where fortunes disappear within a generation because the heirs weren't prepared to manage or grow the assets they received. The key is to focus on passing down financial education, character, and habits that build and preserve wealth. Teach your children or successors the importance of budgeting, investing, delayed gratification, and disciplined financial habits. Show them how money works, not just how to spend it. Practical steps include creating intentional conversations and lessons about money. It could be weekly discussions, shared reading of financial books, or involving younger generations in business or investment decisions early on. When they understand the why behind the wealth, they're more likely to respect and nurture it rather than squander it. Also, consider setting up structures like trusts or family foundations. These tools can provide protection, clear rules, and guidance for how assets should be managed and distributed, reinforcing the financial principles you want to uphold. I remember a mentor who taught me that the greatest gift you can give your heirs is the ability to earn and manage wealth, not just a lump sum of money. This wisdom shaped how I approached building my own legacy, ensuring it wasn't just dollars, but a culture of success and stewardship. To make your wealth last generations, focus first on teaching principles before giving money. Train the next generation to manage what you leave behind, so the legacy of abundance grows stronger with each passing year. One of the most powerful tools in building lasting wealth is regular financial auditing. The old saying goes, "What gets measured improves." And this couldn't be truer when it comes to managing your money. If you don't know where your dollars are going, how can you expect to make wise decisions about your finances? It's not just about earning money, it's about knowing exactly how it flows in and out of your life and making adjustments that keep your wealth growing steadily. From my own experience, I found that the habit of reviewing my financial life monthly was a game changer. Early on, I was working hard, earning money, but not paying close attention to how it was being spent or invested. I learned the hard way that neglecting this step allowed small leaks to drain my resources. When I started tracking every dollar, setting aside time at the end of each month to review my income, expenses, and investments, things changed. I could see patterns, identify unnecessary expenses, and redirect money towards growth opportunities. The philosophy behind auditing your finances regularly is simple but profound. Measurement creates awareness. When you make it a habit to examine your financial situation consistently, you develop a sharper sense of control. You can spot overspending, missed investment opportunities, or income that isn't working hard enough. This clarity builds confidence and discipline because you're no longer guessing, you're acting with knowledge. The strategy is straightforward. Keep detailed records of your income streams, your monthly expenses, and the progress of your assets. Don't just glance over bank statements. Dive deep. Know how much you're saving, what you're investing, and whether your assets are appreciating as they should. This regular check-in helps you stay aligned with your financial goals and catch any problems before they become crises. Practically, set a recurring date each month, whether it's the first or last day, to sit down with your financial documents. Use this time not just to tally numbers, but to reflect on how your money is serving your vision of wealth. Ask yourself, am I closer to financial freedom than last month? What changes can I make? This small, consistent effort builds momentum over time. In my journey, the monthly audit became like a compass, guiding every financial decision and keeping me accountable. It transformed vague hopes into concrete progress and kept my wealth-building efforts on track. So, commit today to start auditing your finances regularly. Set a monthly date and stick to it. Because what gets measured doesn't just improve, it transforms your financial future. When it comes to building wealth, one of the greatest misconceptions is that you need a large sum of money to get started. The truth is, the size of your beginning does not dictate the size of your ending. What truly matters is that you start, no matter how small the amount. Wealth is not about instant riches. It's about building habits and momentum, one small step at a time. Early in my own journey, I didn't have much to invest. I remember vividly feeling discouraged because I thought I needed thousands of dollars to make any meaningful progress. But I quickly realized that waiting for the perfect moment or the right amount would only delay my success. Instead, I took what I had, just $50, and opened an investment account. It was a humble beginning, but more important was the commitment I made to myself to start. This philosophy is about mindset. You don't need big numbers to begin the process of building wealth. What you need is the habit of action, consistency, and learning along the way. Starting small teaches discipline and patience, two qualities essential for long-term success. It's about showing up daily, making decisions aligned with your goals, and letting time and compounding work in your favor. The strategy here is to focus on establishing the right habits before chasing large sums. Make investing a routine, educate yourself about money management, and develop a saving mentality. As your income grows, your habits will carry you forward. When you've built a solid foundation, the bigger numbers will naturally follow. Practically, open an investment account with whatever you can spare, even if it's only $50. Use this as your training ground for developing discipline and understanding how to grow money. Track your progress, reinvest earnings, and commit to regular contributions, no matter how small. Remember, this is not just about money. It's about creating a lifelong habit of financial responsibility. In my experience, those who wait for the perfect starting point often never start at all. But those who begin where they are, with what they have, develop confidence and resilience. Their small beginnings evolve into significant wealth over time because they valued the process, not just the result. So, take that first step today. Open that account, invest your first $50, and set yourself on the path to financial freedom. The size of your start doesn't define you. Your commitment and persistence do. When we talk about building wealth, many people imagine accumulating piles of cash or owning flashy possessions. But true wealth, the kind that lasts beyond your lifetime, is about something far deeper. It's about building assets that outlive you. Legacy is not just money. Legacy is wealth with purpose. It's the fruits of your labor that continue to grow, support, and inspire even after you're gone. I remember early in my life, I was focused solely on making money. I thought if I could just get to a certain bank balance or own a particular car or house, I'd be wealthy. But over time, I learned that wealth without a legacy was like building a house on sand. It might stand for a while, but eventually falls apart. The real test of your financial success is whether the wealth you build today can survive the trials of time and serve generations to come. So, how do you build assets that outlive you? The first step is to think beyond immediate gratification. It's tempting to spend what you earn on the here and now, but if you want your wealth to have lasting impact, you have to plant seeds that grow into strong trees. This means creating income streams, not just savings, that continue to bring value and resources long after your active involvement ends. Real estate properties that generate rental income, businesses that run under trusted management, or investments that compound steadily are examples of such assets. But building lasting wealth is not only about the money or assets themselves, it's about what you pass down with them. Wealth without wisdom is like a ship without a rudder. If you leave your heirs money without the principles that built it, the risk of losing that wealth is high. I've seen families where fortunes disappear within a generation because the younger ones weren't prepared or educated on managing what was handed down. That's why it's crucial to draft a plan not only for your assets, but also for the principles and values that accompany them. Teach the next generation about the importance of discipline, patience, giving, and growth. Practically speaking, creating this legacy requires intentional planning. Start by organizing your financial documents and creating clear instructions for how your assets should be managed or distributed. Establish trusts or funds that ensure your money serves its purpose, whether for your family, charitable causes, or future entrepreneurs. Consult trusted advisors who understand your values and can help structure your estate in a way that protects your legacy. In your daily life, begin mentoring someone, a child, a relative, or a mentee, in the principles of wealth and character. Share your experiences, your successes, and your failures. Wealth is most powerful when it becomes a story and a lesson handed down through relationships. Remember, you are not just building wealth for yourself. You are building a foundation for those who come after you. Wealth that lasts requires foresight, discipline, and heart. It's the difference between being rich for a moment and being rich for a lifetime. And that's why building assets that outlive you is the true mark of financial success. Make this your mission, not just to grow your bank account, but to grow a legacy that stands the test of time. When it comes to building real, lasting wealth, one of the simplest yet most powerful principles you can adopt is to give every dollar a job. Money left without purpose tends to disappear faster than we expect. It drifts away into unnoticed expenses, impulsive buys, or gets trapped in accounts that don't work for you. If you want to master your finances and grow wealth over time, you must be intentional with every dollar you earn. This is why building a money allocation system is essential. Think of your money as employees in your financial business. Each one should have a clear task that contributes to your overall financial success. Without this discipline, money wanders aimlessly, and you lose control of your financial future. When you give your dollars specific jobs, you create clarity and purpose for your income. You avoid confusion and waste, and you start steering your financial ship toward your goals instead of drifting aimlessly. The philosophy here is straightforward. Every dollar you earn should be assigned a role. Some dollars will be responsible for your immediate living expenses: food, rent, utilities, transportation. This is necessary, of course, but it should never consume your entire income. Other dollars should be allocated to investing, the area that creates your future wealth. This money goes into stocks, bonds, businesses, real estate, or any asset that generates income or appreciates over time. A portion of your income must also be dedicated to learning. Why? Because knowledge compounds faster than money. When you invest in yourself, books, courses, coaching, you increase your earning potential and sharpen your ability to make smarter financial decisions. This is often overlooked, but it's a critical piece of wealth building. Lastly, don't forget the power of giving. Generosity isn't just a moral principle, it's a financial one. When you give, you open the flow of wealth, create goodwill, and build relationships that often return multiplied blessings. Setting aside money for charity, community projects, or simply helping others creates a positive cycle that benefits both your heart and your wallet. How do you put this into practice? The most effective step is to automate these allocations. Set up separate accounts or envelopes, one for living, one for investing, one for learning, and one for giving, and arrange automatic transfers each payday. This removes the temptation to skip or misallocate funds. When the money lands in the right place without you having to think about it, your financial habits become seamless and consistent. I recall early in my own journey, I struggled to manage where my money was going. There were months I thought I was saving, but in reality my savings were sporadic and unplanned. Once I created a system and automated my allocations, everything changed. It wasn't about having more money, it was about making the money I had work harder and smarter. Remember, financial success is rarely about luck, it's about discipline and clarity. When every dollar has a job, your money begins to serve you, building wealth quietly and steadily over time. Make this system your foundation, and you'll gain control, peace of mind, and the power to build the life you want. Assign your dollars their jobs today. Wealth follows purpose. There is a powerful truth about wealth that many overlook. Generosity isn't just about giving away what you have. It's about keeping the flow of abundance alive. When you choose to give, you're not losing money. You're creating a channel that keeps your wealth moving and growing. Generosity is one of the secret forces behind lasting prosperity, and understanding this principle can change the way you think about money forever. The philosophy behind giving is simple yet profound. Wealth that only accumulates without flowing eventually stagnates. Think about rivers. If water stops flowing, it becomes stagnant and lifeless. But when it keeps moving, it nourishes everything around it, creates life, and carves new paths. Your wealth behaves the same way. When you give, whether it's time, money, or resources, you keep your financial energy alive and expanding. The strategy to put this into action is to decide a specific percentage of your income to give regularly. This might be 10%, 5%, or whatever feels right for you, but consistency is key. Committing to a steady giving habit means you're not waiting for extra money. Instead, you make generosity a non-negotiable part of your financial plan. This dedication shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance and aligns your financial life with a greater purpose. In my own life, I've seen this principle at work. When I first started, I was hesitant to give because I believed I didn't have enough. But I realized that giving, even in small amounts, created a ripple effect. I felt more connected, more motivated, and doors opened that I hadn't expected. It's not about the size of what you give, but the heart behind it and the discipline to keep it consistent. Giving also expands your influence and relationships. It's a way to invest in people and causes that matter. And often those investments return to you in ways money alone cannot measure. When you give, you are planting seeds for the future. Seeds that grow into opportunities, goodwill, and sometimes unexpected blessings. So here's a practical step to start. Decide on a percentage of your income you'll dedicate to giving and set it aside first, just like you pay your bills or save for the future. Automate this if you can. Make it a joyful habit, not a grudging expense. Watch how this simple act transforms your relationship with money and how your wealth begins to flow more freely. Give to grow, and your financial life will become richer, not just in dollars, but in meaning, purpose, and freedom. Generosity is not a loss. It's the secret to lasting gain. Start today and experience how wealth flows when you open your hands. As we come to the close of this journey together, remember this: wealth is far more than a number in your bank account. It is a mindset, a discipline, and a lifestyle rooted in purpose and clarity. The true secret to building lasting wealth is not just in earning more, but in thinking differently, acting consistently, and giving generously. Wealth begins in your mind and grows through your habits. You've heard how success leaves clues. Study those who have walked the path before you and model their principles. You've learned that managing your money with discipline, auditing your habits, and reinvesting profits are not just good ideas. They are necessary steps on your road to freedom. You understand now that starting where you are, even if it's with a small amount, matters far more than waiting for the perfect moment. Building assets that outlive you, giving to grow, and having a clear money allocation system set the foundation for wealth that lasts generations. But knowledge alone will not move you forward. Action is the bridge between dreams and reality. So today, I challenge you to take that first step. Define what wealth means to you and commit to living below your means while investing in your future. Track your spending, cut unnecessary expenses, and automate your savings. Most importantly, embrace generosity as a way of life. Give regularly, not because you have plenty, but because giving creates a flow of abundance. Financial freedom is not a distant dream, it's a daily choice. You either choose comfort now and pay later, or discipline now and live free forever. Choose discipline. Choose to think freedom, build wealth, and live rich. Your journey begins now. Make the decision, take the small steps, and watch how your life transforms one day at a time. The future you desire is waiting on the other side of your choices today. Make them count.